Hello, Monsters Abound here, and welcome back to Total War Troy, and an early access look at the next DLC, the next and final DLC. There'll be no more DLC for Total War Troy, but then I think they've covered most of the characters, to be honest, and it's had a fairly good run, and I've really enjoyed it. It's a genuinely one of my favourite Total War games. I think it does the battles really, really well. And this is bringing Rhesus and Memnon to Total War Troy. Both are nominal allies of Troy, which now means that each faction has 6 characters, and then there's the 2 Amazons who are technically allies of Troy but aren't necessarily allies of Troy. They don't tend to... I very rarely see them actually like link up with Troy. They tend to stay apart and sort of act as like a third faction. Well, I mean, one of them does anyway. The Horde faction always dies almost immediately. Now we're going to be playing as the Thracian king, Rhesus, and the reason is because he's got massive thighs. They're big. They're like massive muscular peaches. You just want to take a bite. But that's one of the reasons. The other is that I've not really seen this area of the map. We're kind of up in the north here, and I don't normally sort of end up in that location. I tend to sort of like fight down here, so I thought it might be interesting to start up here. And the other is that I tend to prefer factions with sort of like a meaty front line and lots of bows. And Rhesus is very much like, very few of his units have shields. He loves his fucking chariots. He's basically a big chargy boy. So I thought, let's go for Rhesus. He's got big chargy boys. He's in a different part of the map. Muscular peach thighs. Those are the 3 reasons. There we go. That's why we're doing it. So the DLC is coming out on December 14th. So almost Christmas. And then obviously we've got Total War Warhammer 3 coming out early next year. So, oh, what a time to be a Total War fan. What a time. So Rhesus... he has lineage, so he gives more happiness faction-wide, which is quite useful. More charge to all units in this army, and 3% casual replenishment rate for units in this hero's army. All very nice. He's a Homeric character, so he'll never die, but he will be wounded. And of course, he's an epic hero, so he gets more generated rage in battle, more morale, and more influence in that region. Now, he does have a couple of really unique mechanics. So the first of is the Thracian Rituals. Now, you don't have agents, so we can't recruit priestesses or spies or anything like that. Instead, we've got these rituals which we can do, and they have a new resource, devotion. So devotion we can get in a few different ways. You can do the religious mysteries. They will give you several turns of additional Oh, I thought they did give you devotion. Maybe don't. Oh, no, they do. Yeah, there we go. We get extra devotion per turn as they're running. For example, this is going to give you +2 devotion. This is +1 and +1. All of them share the same cooldown, so you have to wait to do any of these. You can't do 2 at the same time. You can also do divine offering. So once you've built a temple, you can then activate one of these. And what this will do is it will basically mean that every single time you win a battle, depending on the level of temple that you have, you will gain some devotion and also some favor for that god. And you can only have one of these active at any one time, but you can turn them on and off as you want, basically. Then you can spend that devotion in doing sacrifices, and these are going to give you various different bonuses. So for example, more melee attack for your own army, more campaign movement range, casual replenishment rate, fatigue of own units during battle, upkeep reduction, all that kind of good stuff there. And you also have some special units that are limited in number. So you have a limited capacity 6, 4 and 6. So you got these 2-handed axe infantry who are fucking ridiculous. Look at those stats, they're ludicrous. You got some chariots, 2-handed spear chariots. Chariots are really quite powerful, and these guys are probably some of the best chariots in the game. And these guys, 2-handed spear infantry, again, very, very nasty. But they do come in limited numbers, and you do need 10 devotion to get each one. The other mechanic he has is the Countless Host. So, the number of Thracian Forest regions that you own will determine how strong and how many of these Countless Host armies you can get. So basically what a Countless Host army is you build an army based on whatever you want. Sure, well, and that will cost a food as well as devotion to summon. and it will cost upkeep as well, but it won't count towards your administration. So this is not going to increase the cost of units or your upkeep or anything like this. It's basically like a free army-ish, except obviously with some upkeep. However, the army will not replenish unless you have activated to this one. There we go. Sacrifice to Gerbil. You do a little sacrifice to Gerbil, you'll get 30% replenishment of countless host armies, own armies faction-wide. They also cannot reinforce your armies. I don't think they reinforce each other, basically. So they're standalone armies. To start off with, they're going to be quite weak, but they don't increase administration cost. And basically, what I like to do is get one fairly early and set it to start raiding. Because the more, raiding will generate you food as well as other resources, which are always quite useful. So it's actually like, free stuff. It's great. Now, Rhesus here, he starts off with some giants. We are playing mythological mode, and I did a little poll with my Patreon supporters, and we are going to go Hydra. We're going to go Snek. I did say Snek or birds, because we've already done Doggo, so it's Snek or birds, and they said Snek, so we're going to Snek. And he starts off with some giants. He also starts off with the Thracian light chariots. These guys are really good, and they're going to be very useful. Thracian hunters, woodsmen, mountaineers, and plainsmen. Plainsmen are actually a rank 2 unit, and the mountaineers and the woodsmen are basically what we're going to be making do with. These guys have fairly good charge bonus, pretty good stats overall. They're not too bad. They're basically junky units that we'll throw away, but they're fine. They'll do the job. But really, the star is going to be the Thracian light chariots, and the sooner we get more chariots, the better. We could go for the training camp, but I'm not going to because I don't really find it that useful. So we're just going to carry on. Now we do start off with these guys as military allies. I'm tempted to break this off because, to be honest, they just kind of get in the way. So we could do that. I mean, would that really be a problem? I mean, it's right there. I do kind of want it. I'll worry about that in a second. Let's start off by attacking Dylan here.
Scourge of the Achaeans.
First battle of the campaign. It always has that fresh campaign battle smell. I really do think Troy's the prettiest Total War game they've ever released. It's really good. I love the terrain as well. I love the maps. Have that little bit of sort of strategy added to them. Unlike the Total War 1 maps, and to a certain degree the Total War Warhammer 2 maps, where they're mostly just open. There's nothing really to cause any issues for the AI, I guess. Now, our giant vanguard can, as their name suggests, vanguard deploy. These big beefy boys hiding in the trees. We're going to move the Thracian hunters up, and the idea is we're going to sort of try shooting at them while we're hidden, and then hopefully they'll charge in. I'm hoping what happens is the Centaur warriors will come in, because the Centaur warriors are a real problem for our chariots. But there's the peach-thighed guy himself. Look at those thighs. They are, beefy. Beefy thighs. There's Rhesus. So this, obviously, in mythological modes, a lot of armies start with some mythological units, and that's kind of it. I feel like in normal modes, it's not a problem because they don't have Centaur warriors. They have like another unit of spears or something, I think. And that's a lot easier for our chariots just to mow through. So we're going to have to try and lock down these Centaur warriors. Meanwhile, we can see our archers are opening fire on their archers and hopefully drawing in some of these enemy units to engage our giants. We also have a unit of militia warband heading towards the trees, where a unit of our woodsmen are hiding in the woods. It's what they do. It's their job.
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
And now they've spotted us, but it's too late. It's going to be an absolute slaughter with our charge bonus and two-handed weapons. Oh, yes. It's going to be good. The giant vanguard moving in to back up our mountaineers. Going to get a little charge in the back there with our giants. And the chariots, having given the Centaur warriors the slip, who are now engaged with our plainsmen. All shirtless. A lot of people like going shirtless in the Trojan Age, apparently. Fair enough. And our chariots now do their thing. And their thing is running down infantry. Especially, you know, these archers. Those archers are going to get their ass kicked. The giant vanguards and the mountaineers have torn their way through this militia warband. And Rhesus is attacking the enemy hero. He's a warlord mentor, which means our Rhesus should be able to mop him up fairly easily. Fingers crossed anyway. We've got most of the enemy units on the run. You can see our chariots running through the archers. Just rolling through them. Yep, it's an absolute slaughter. Chariots are so good against most types of infantry. Heavy infantry they'll struggle against if they charge them in the front, but light infantry, like what most of these factions will start off with, light infantry, a lot of light infantry, they will just get shredded by these chariots. They will just roll through them, no problem. With most of the enemy units fleeing, and Rhesus taking out the enemy warlords, just the Centaur warriors who keep trying to run away from our plainsmen, but they just can't get far enough. They're just not fast enough to get out of combat quickly, and then they end up back in combat with them. And the plainsmen are just tearing through the Centaur warriors. Centaur warriors really need to be sort of rear charging their shock cavalry, really, not for sustained combat. This battle's actually going on a lot longer than I thought it would. Our chariot's taking a little while to catch up with the second unit of archers. Oh, they're going to make their stand. Oh, they're running away again. That's probably sensible. Ooh. What I love is the chariots leave like little blood tire marks, chariot wheel marks. It's so satisfying to see all these just like lines carved through the units, and all the grass getting flattened as well. I love that. It's a little touch, but it's just really nice. Anyway, with both units of archers dealt with, and the enemy general on his last legs,
Seriously, shut up.
he's going to run away soon. Nice easy victory. Not as easy as I would have liked it. Probably should have locked down those centaurs with the giant vanguard, really. But a win's a win. A successful first battle. Not as successful as I wanted, but it was fine. We're going to take the replenishment.
My skills are legend.
So we defeated the army, so we've got some extra food and bronze, and that's useful because we are going to immediately... Now, we can't take this army yet. There's a little army here plus a garrison. That's too strong for us to take, but we can take this. And if we take this, they only have one city left. And if we lay siege to them, basically we can bottle them up. And they can't really do anything about that. We do have a little skill point, though, which I'm going to spend in Seize the Moment, which is going to reduce melee defense by 50% for everyone around Rhesus for... was it 30 seconds? 40 seconds. 40 seconds, which is obviously going to be quite useful. Now, you can see they don't have any centaurs in this army, which makes our chariot significantly more useful, and they will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So we're flanking around the enemy army. As our main infantry force advances, they don't have any centaurs this time, which really does make this a lot easier. Enemy general there is a defender, a protector, so he's going to be a bit of a tougher nut to crack than the previous general. But basically, as they start moving around to try and engage the chariots, our infantry's then going to advance, and our chariots are just going to rampage straight into these Trojan warriors. And then basically, they're just not going to stop. We're going to pull through this unit. And as you can see, they're just taking a lot of damage as we just tear through them. And then the next unit also getting trashed. Our infantry's now moving up, and it's pandemonium as the enemy units try and get out of the way. We slam straight into those archers. You can see the infantry flank. One unit's already running away. The other one's just shredded. And we're coming back.
Your hero is under attack.
And the double whammy of being engaged and then again charged by the chariots is too much for them, and they're breaking and running. Meanwhile, we're taking on all the enemy infantry. There's the archers getting shot up by our archers, which is good. The chariots now coming over the top of the hill, charging down into the remains of a unit of slingers. But not spending too long there as they come and then join the fight again with this militia warband. Smashing straight into that unit and then through the other side. That's really how you want to use chariots, is like charging into the back of a unit and then through the other side, just taking them apart. We are going to get charged the back here. These woodsmen are surrounded. Fortunately, the chariots are tearing down the hill once again. Straight into that unit of militia and then into the unit the other side. Taking out both of them. 202 kills, 3, 4. It just can't stop the chariot charge. That saves those woodsmen, and the plainsmen now helping to mop things up. The chariot's going to continue to hunt down any fleeing units. And now it's just a case of Rhesus taking on the enemy hero. Though he's just chilling at the moment.
Do you fear death?
Rhesus not winning that engagement, despite the our stats are definitely better than theirs. A few arrows coming in there, mostly hitting him in the back though, so that's good. And reinforcements are on their way. Most of the rest of the enemy army is either fleeing or being hunted down by chariots. Okay. Let us occupy. And then we're going to pick up
Good plan.
something like that. So we're going to get some giants. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to build arable land to give us a little bit extra food. It's not a lot, but it's something. So that should give us a fairly good force that we can then go and lay siege to Cirrus next turn. Also got a royal decree. I'm going to go gold almost immediately, because the sooner we get gold, the better. Gold is a limited resource in Total War Troy, which means that while there are settlements with gold on the map, eventually they have deposits of gold that will run out. So you need to make sure that you get as much gold as possible. So we've got an issued mission to issue a royal decree, which we're doing anyway. We're just going to go straight in here and lay siege. I'm hoping they'll come out to play, but they might not. I think I might just leave this for the moment. I don't think we're going to do anything else, actually. I think we're just going to see if they want to come out to play. If they don't, we'll just have to siege them down, because there's no way we can get in. So, okay. So we're just going to have to siege them down, but that's fine. We can do that. So just got to wait for them to start taking attrition damage. Because while we could potentially attack the city, it probably wouldn't be a good idea. So just going to keep completing our missions, upgrading our city. I'm tempted to just...
I look forward to finding the best deal.
Because we can't confederate these guys, so unless they get wiped out. We have a defensive alliance. I'm going to leave that for the moment. I may change my mind. So we've got our first mythological spawned army. These guys are the Cerberus guys. Obviously we did Cerberus last time. It was good. Cerberus he's a good boy, isn't he? But I feel like the snake's going to be just as good. Constructing a building, which we've done. Upgrade to being set. Yep, that's fine. And you are starting to take attrition damage, which is exactly what we wanted. We can upgrade you. So let's do that. And you know what? I think I'm going to do that right off the bat. I probably won't want to keep it there, but it means in 2 turns we can get more chariots. And chariots, as we've seen, pretty fucking good. If we had 1 unit of them, they were really good. Imagine what we could do with 4 of the buggers. Oh, that's the stuff. Right, how's this going to look? I'm going to kill most of my units. No then. Maybe we'll siege them down for 1 more turn and then finish them off. I'm not super worried about the plainsmen. I think that the woodsmen and mountaineers are actually fine. They don't live long, but they don't need to. They just go and smash people in the face. So mission issue, we need to upgrade the main building ready settlement to its maximum level, which we will do. You are... that is fine. You can now see from the auto-resolve what units are going to be wounded, what units are going to be wiped out. It's just nice to know, because sometimes auto-resolve just kicks you in the nuts, and it never feels good. It never feels good. So Rhesus is daring. And those guys are out of here. So we can go to the walled city. Obviously, we want to go for the growth building first off. You do actually have some special buildings as Rhesus. So you have the Dolmen Complex, which is required for some holy sacrifices. Increases happiness, casualty replenishment rate, influence, and morale of heavy infantry in the province. You also have the Great Temple to Zebi, and that's required for a Sacred Oath. More melee defense for all units on recruitment. More morale for all units in the province. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so, yeah. So, you get more melee defense on recruitment for all armies in the province. Morale, upkeep reduction for armies in the province. And also there's a high influence bonus of 10 gold per turn. So that could actually be, because that'll pay for itself in 18 turns, effectively, if you have a high influence. So that's not bad. That's pretty legit. He has the large tribal district. That's where you can recruit your sort of like your charger units. You've got the barracks there. You've got the Thracian guards. They do have shields. They're actually fairly tanky. They could have a fairly tanky front line. And your plainsmen and your mountaineers and woodsmen. You've got the practice range. You get the forest skirmishers, Thracian hunters, forest ambushers, and Thracian archers. They're actually not bad, but I'm not super worried about bowmen in this campaign. I don't think. I'm going to try not to use them as much, if at all. You do have the armory as well. That's going to give you Thracian spearmen, again fairly tanky, and dropper phones. More chargy boys. You get a lot of chargy boys here. It's going to be difficult to pick out which ones you want already. And then of course the chariots. You get Thracian chariots, medium chariots. They're pretty good. You get the Thracian archer chariots, medium chariots. So these guys have more. They've got less charge bonus. No, more charge. These guys have got more charge bonus. 21, 26. So they've got slightly more melee defense, slightly less melee attack. These guys got slightly more speed as well, and slightly more armor. And of course they've got the bow attacks as well, so that's nice. And then you've got the Boya. This goes Thracian bowmen, who I think you can also get. That's Thracian archers, Thracian hunters, and Thracian bowmen. So lots of options there. A lot of options. You also get this building, whatever this is. It gives you a little bit of extra garrison, more damage when under siege, and more weapon. No, 20% to weapon and armor piercing damage for all units under siege battles. Yes, yeah. So it's like siege defense basically, which is fine, I guess. And you also get the temples and all that kind of good stuff. In the minor settlements, you do get special buildings for each of the various different resource settlements. So you get the Great Temple to Zlamoxis. So you get a little bit of extra high influence bonus there, and it gives a little bit of morale and upkeep reduction, which is fair enough. You get the Great Temple to Sabasolsis. So there's a bit of high... I mean, the high influence is 400 food a turn, which is not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, you could definitely... Like, it's better than the Hunter's Lodge. So that could be... That's a strong option there. Because the Hunter's Lodge has a you know, a minus 70 to growth, whereas that doesn't. It also has other bonuses, which is quite nice. I mean, it only increases the stats of armies in the province, which is okay, but you know, 400 food, you can't sniff at that, can you? Eh? So that's all good. Some of the other settlements, so for example, I think the stone and I think the wood has the wood. Yeah, we know the wood has special, and the food. Stone and bronze have a basic. Have a sort of the same one, which doesn't seem to give many bonuses. That might not be worth it. I haven't seen the gold one yet, whether that's got a special a building associated with it. So I think we will probably see that later, maybe. Now, we do have a skill point here. We can either go with a Generous Host or Stalwart. Stalwart is going to reduce the success of enemy action agents against this hero, which is quite nice because obviously we don't have our own agents to stop them. Upkeep reduction for all heroes faction-wide is quite nice, although heroes aren't necessarily that expensive. This is going to give us more growth and more happiness, which is... it's difficult. I guess if you're going to garrison him more, Generous Host is better, but Stalwart just... Seeing as Rhesus is going to be the tip of our spear, we kind of want, you know, we never want him to be blocked or stabbed or whatever. So I'm going to go with Stalwart. I think the growth could be strong, but I'm just a bit dubious. Just a bit dubious. Right, we have currently 65 bronze coming in a turn, which means we can have that many? Yeah, so we can have 2 more chariots, and then we can get some more of those. We'll go for the replenishment. I want to take out these guys next.
We might as well try talking.
I don't think there's a point, to be honest, and the reason is because they've only got 1 settlement, so fuck those guys. They're gonna get it next. These guys are probably... We're gonna end up at war with these guys soon because these guys tend to declare war on these guys, and obviously we're Defensive Alliance, so that will happen. So I have to keep an eye on that. With any luck, maybe they'll kill them. Fingers crossed, and then we can take their stuff.
Mightiest of kings.
So, commandment available. Obviously, we're going to go with the extra growth, wherever it is. There you are. Let's go with the growth. Good. I want to get a Temple of Ares in here. I don't really want to, but you're going to give me gold, so okay. What can I say? I love gold. So we completed this, more food and bronze. We've got blood for a gold piece, so there's another army there. That is the Griffin army, the Burb. And we've got a thirst for conquest. Oh, I've got a thirst. Need to conquest. Definitely. He's a big, thirsty, muscular, peach-thighed boy.
In defense of Ilion.
So we're going to move over here and look quite threatening, ideally. Yeah, so we can't afford another chariot, which is a shame. But we're going to go with something like that.
Eager for action.
And then we're going to take, because, you know, more wood, right? We need wood. He's got big muscular peach thighs, and that's giving wood. Maybe. Good. We've issued a royal decree. So we've said we want gold, and so we're getting some more gold. That's nice. And we've got growing influence. Quest there, maintain control of 4 provinces, which we obviously want to do. And we also need to build a temple, which we want to do also. No, we're going to keep that for the moment, but I will knock it down eventually. So, next up, we've got the bronze, we've got the gold. I kind of want the stone, so let's go with stone. And we're going to start off by taking this. So we're going to declare war on them. I don't need my allies to help. We're just going to move in, and it looks dicey, but we've got chariots, so... It's a bit of a shame that Troy, not support, but the Troy DLC cycle, let's say, has finished. But I will say that CO Sophia, who worked on Troy, I think they were working on the Rome DLC, the Rome 2 DLCs beforehand, and I think this was their first Total War game, and they have done so well. Their baby is beautiful. It's a beautiful baby. It's a beautiful Troy baby. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do going forwards. Now, we're up against quite a few enemies here. They outnumber us easily over 2 to 1. What we're going to do is we're going to use our chariots to basically break through. So we're charging the Thracian spearmen here. Probably not the best idea, but fuck it, we'll do it anyway. So we're going to smash into them. And then we're going to pull through their line, disrupting it. And then we're going to charge with their woodsmen. So while their formation is disrupted and they're not looking, we're going to hit them with those woodsmen, getting their attacks in there. Meanwhile, the chariots are racing off to do more damage. We then have more chariots coming in this side. There are a few missile units here. The missile unit's going to be quite nasty for the chariots, particularly don't have much armor. But we're just going to do the same thing, just slam into them, pull through, disrupting their defensive formation. Over here, the giant vanguard charging down into the woodsman here, doing lots of damage, which is good, being backed up by units of mountaineers and plainsmen. Rhesus is then taking on the rest of the Thracian spearmen. They're taking an absolute beating here, but still holding on. Our chariots pulling through more units. I mean, the chariots just rampaging at this point, just pulling through units all over the place, slamming into the back of things, basically causing the defenders to not know where they need to deploy their strength to stop me. That's the plan. I mean, to be honest, it probably would have been more sensible to have recruited another general and then done the ambush trick. That would have probably been more sensible, but this is fine. Come on, chariot. The problem with chariots, it's trying to turn them. It's like the Austin Powers thing. It's fine. It's slightly better than that. Okay, the chariot's continuing to smash through. You can see lots of destruction here. Lots. Look at all the skid marks. Right, we've broken through the Thracian spearmen. Heading down towards this blob here. There are 2 enemy generals, 2 heroes, a champion and a ravager. The chariots are 255 kills, which is what we need. Looking at the numbers here, they are losing men very rapidly. Our chariots, though, are slightly bogged down in this mass of the squash of humanity. Giants smashing through. You can see, the giants are really... The giants and chariots are what's making this. The plainsmen also coming round. We've managed to get some mountaineers melee combat here. We're going to bring the plainsmen round, hit them in the rear. The giants are going to push on towards the city centre. One of my chariots is not super happy. Can't blame them. They are retreating. To be fair, they have killed almost 300. And looking at the numbers here, we'll see they're rapidly running out of men. Well, chariots is a little bit stuck. That's not great. Giants pushing in. Lots of javelins here. Now, if the AI was using the javelins properly, they would lock me in lock the giants in combat, move the javelins around, hit them in the back. Thankfully, they're not that competent. I am playing on hard, I think? Double hard. Yeah, the giants getting in there, mashing those lads. The chariots, oh, look at I mean, 310 kills, 429 kills. This is great. We have these two enemy generals here. And I don't really have a plan for them apart from maybe break the entire enemy army. That might be the plan. It's a plan. Our giants are a little bit surrounded here. They seem to be doing okay. And over here we've managed to break this unit, and we can now move all three of these units round to the city centre to help out with this engagement. The chariots are coming back. It's just so much damage they've done. And we're going to charge them straight back into this mess. Rhesus is engaging one of the enemy generals, and he's not having a good time. He's getting attacked by two of them. In fact, the chariots rampaging into this line. Not a particularly good charge there. That was better. The giant skirmishers are joining the party. They're not as good combatants, but they're doing okay. To be honest, I probably should have just got them chucking javelins to that mess. That probably would have been a better option. The giants are taking quite a lot of damage, but they're still holding, and the chariots now rampaging into the back of those mountaineers. Ah, yes, that's it. Straight through. That's the stuff. Reinforcements are now on the way. They've broken through a unit of forest ambushers, now pushing on towards city centre. Once we've taken that city centre, we should be fine. But our chariots, retreating now, at 363 kills. The enemy troops, there's less enemies than there are of us. Finally, we've managed to kill our way through quite a lot, thanks to the giants and the chariots. Although my chariots are now broken, having taken significant damage. 363 kills. 306, 310 kills. I think the other one to kill like 466. Yeah, there we go. Rhesus doing the old Aristia. Which means he's going to start regenerating health, which is useful. There we go. The enemy has lost their victory point, which means their victory points are starting to count down. They'll also take a bit of a morale hit. Our giants have come to join. Again, the giants doing... 352 kills of the giants. Good lads. Murdering their way through everything. We just need to break the enemy army now.
Your warriors are rallying.
It's close. It's close. We're getting there. The enemy general taking a beating thanks to the giants. We've got control of the city centre. The chariots are continuing to rampage.
Victory is closer.
Well, they're routing, but to be fair, they've done a lot of work. 5 left, 518 kills. That'll do it. Arminos is finally taking effect, and the enemy army is retreating. I mean, what's left of it? Well, dicey, but victory nonetheless. Thank God for giants and chariots.
I am unstoppable now.
Yes. Well, I mean, let's not go too overboard. So we could increase this to reduce armor as well. Upkeep reduction for heroes faction wide. I mean, increase line of sight is quite nice. What else do we have? More ammunition or recruit rank? Neither of which I'm massively into. So maybe we go... I mean, how much does a hero cost us, really?
Descendant of Ares.
300 food. I mean, 15% isn't really going to... I suppose that... so, yeah, about 300 food. Obviously, it'll increase with our administration. So it's going to increase it by 95% at most. And plus, we don't have agents, so we won't be able to have that much. I'm going to do that. I like to be able to see what's going on.
Acceptable.
I like to see what's going on, so we'll go with that. That's what we're going to do with. Okay, good. So far, so good. You know what I think I'm going to do is... knock that down because we don't really need it. I need more food. I need more influence here. You can now instantly finish construction as well. So that's fun. I mean, what we could do is maybe like these guys down here.
Hope this will be a productive discussion.
They don't like the fact that I stabbed the tree people, but fuck them, basically. That's my thinking. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to get a countless host. I'm going to do something like that. Oh, we don't have the devotion. I need some more devotion, don't I? So we could do... It's cost us a little bit of... Experience to all garrisoned units. It's not the worst thing to have. We do have spare bronze, so we could do that. Because we don't, like... We can't really spend the bronze on anything else, and in fact, that way we could then do that, and they'll be rank 2. So let's go with that. So once we've got the devotion, we're going to get a countless army, and then we're just going to set them raiding. Because when they raid, they will more than likely pay for themselves and also get us some other resources depending on what region we're going to raid. But that's going to have to wait until next time. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.